Valentine's Day is just around the corner, so today I thought it would be the perfect day to make a Valentine's themed necklace. Hi, I'm Dawn from EOS Design Studio, and today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful charm necklace, but also in so doing, the proper way to knot between beads. The tools that I'm going to be using today are primarily a bent nose tweezer to make my knots, but I'll also need something sharp to cut the cord at the end of my project. In order to put my jump rings on properly, I'm going to use 2 flat nose pliers, and at the very end, when I attach my finding, I will need a round nose plier. In addition, I'll need a little bit of glue at the end of the project. I've chosen size 8 pearls, and these are glass pearls, check glass pearls, as opposed to freshwater pearls. I have a handful of charms. I have some jump rings, and I like to use a thicker jump ring so that the cord doesn't go through it. And this is a 16 gauge 4mm jump ring. In order to use your clasp and attach it, you'll need some little clamshells. I have 2 clamshell findings. We're ready to get started. So before I start stringing, the first thing I like to do is make sure that all my jump rings are on my charms and that they're all the same size and that they're well closed. So I will show you that you can see here there are 2 different size jump rings. I want them all to be the same size so that they fill up the gap completely between the pearls, and I like to use a smaller jump ring to do that. If you don't know the right way to open a jump ring, so if you, oops, wrong tool, I like to take 2 flat nose pliers, and you're going to hold one side steady and then pull the other side towards you so that it makes that little gap there. All right, you'll put on your charm, and then you will close it in the same way. One side, in this case, it's my left side, is steady, and I'm going to push the other side down until the 2 rings join, and then just give it a little snap in place. I want to make sure that they're perfectly lined so that my cord, can't get between there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put all my my charms, my jump rings on, and I'll meet you back in just a minute. I'm going to be knotting with silk, and I'm going to be using a size 6 silk because that size will fit in the hole of my pearl perfectly. And I want to, I could go with a thinner size, but I want to really be able to see that pop of color. So I'm opting to go with a slightly larger size. The reason I love using Griffin silk is that it comes with a needle on, it's pre-carded, and it's therefore very easy to use with the needle already attached. So the needle may look a little bit wonky. Don't worry about it. It's going to straighten out over time. But the first thing you want to do is pre-stretch your silk, because the weight of the pearls will, over time, stretch the cording, and you don't want gaps between your pearls. In order to stretch it, do not pull from the needle end, grab it below the needle, and you're going to just give a really good tug. See how I'm really pulling there? And you can see how it's totally straight now. Whereas if I go down a little bit, see how it has all those kinks? I want to go down the entire length of the cord, even though I'm not going to use the entire length, in order to get all of the slack out. I have now pre-stretched my cord, and I am ready to start knotting. In order to do that, I'm going to start by doing an overhand knot pretty close to the end of my cord, and I want my knot to be a little bulky, so I'm going to go through the knot twice. Go through once, go through twice, and then I'm going to pull it and chase it down. Okay. Then with the needle end, I'm going to thread in my finding, this little clamshell here, and I'm going to open up my clamshell just a little bit. You'll see that there is a hole between the 2 sides of the clamshell. What I'm going to do is I'm going to thread my cord through into that hole, and then if I pull the thread all the way through, my knot gets stuck within the clamshell. I don't close it or cut it yet. I wait to the very end to do that. So now I'm going to start by doing my knots. Okay, I just stopped for a minute to feed the cat so she would stop crying. All right, so the first knot, the way I knot, you'll see in different videos, people have different ways of knotting. This is the way that I learned. I think it's the simplest method. It uses a cheap tool, which is just a pair of bent nose tweezers. And once you get the hang of it, I think it is the fastest way to knot as well. So I'm going to make a little peace sign with my fingers, and then I'm going to use my thumb to kind of hold my finding in place, and I'm going to go around my peace sign 1.5 times. There's 1 and there's the half, right? So now I'm going to take my cord and go back around back and through the hole, all right, and pull my cord all the way. Right, so you can see that's where I went through the back, and that's actually the knot right there. So I've made the knot on my finger, and now I'm going to chase the knot to the place where I want it to be. So I pick up my tool, I go behind the first cord, and I grab the inner cord, and now I'm just going to chase that cord down to, chase the tool down to where I want it to be on the finding. And it's okay then just to drop my knot over onto my tool. So there's my knot right there. And then I'm going to take the running cord, the long cord, and just pull. And you can see as I do that, I'm chasing the knot all the way down to where I want it. All right, so it's nice and flush against the finding. Now don't just open up your tool, because if you do, you can chase the knot up the cord. So what I do is I just kind of put my fingernail on top of the knot, take out my tool, and then see how the knot is just a little bit loose there. I'm going to take my tool and then just very gently pull until I get to that knot, and then give a little tug. And then that moves the knot very firmly and securely next to the clamshell. Now it's time to add my first bead. And I'm going to repeat the same step. Make a peace sign. I'm going to hold my pearl down with my thumb so that my cord doesn't move around. I'm going to go 1.5 times around my fingers, go around back and through the hole, and pull my cord all the way through. And now my knot is there. Pick up my tool, go behind the first cord, grab the inner cord and gently slide it down to where I want it to be, right there. And now I can drop my knot, and then I'm just going to pull the long cord until it chases the knot to exactly where I want it to be. I'm going to take out my tool, and then I'm going to grab the cord, and I'm just going to get a little closer so you can see. I'm going to give a little tug. All right. I'm going to do that 1 or 2 more times so that you can see it, and then I'm going to move along in the project to where we start adding the charms. So again, put my pearl on, make a peace sign. I'm going to hold with my thumb my project. 1.5 times I'm wrapping around my peace sign, down through the center, pick up my tool, pass behind the first cord, grab the inner cord and slide to where I want my knot to be placed, drop my knot, and then pull the running cord so that the knot chases down to the pearl. Take out my tool, and then I'm going to grab and just pull. All right, let's do that one more time. Go through my glass pearl. Hold my project. I'm going to wrap 1.5 times around, around back and through. Here I am. I'm going to grab my tool, go behind my first cord, grab my inner cord, chase it to where it wants to be, and then pull. So I'm going to keep on doing that to the point where I'm ready to put on my charms. And then I am literally just going to slide on each charm between the pearls. And on my necklace, you'll see that I have done 2 pearls. Oops, there's the back. That's the back piece. I've done 2 pearls between each charm, and so that's what I'm going to aim for now. You may be wondering why my piece is all made. I'll be honest. I already videotaped this, or I thought I videotaped the project, and I was so proud of myself that I got to the very end without having to stop. And then I realized I hadn't pressed the play button. So I'm just going to fudge it a little here and show you the beginning and the end, and you can just pretend that I've made the whole thing while you were watching. Okay, so on my necklace, I did 12 beads before I started putting on my charms. Just because I've already done this once, I'm not going to do the whole 12. I'm just going to show you the next step, which is to start sliding on your charms. If your charm is a single-sided charm, and I think there is at least one single-sided, there's 2 single-sided charms on my necklace, I want to make sure that I'm putting all of the pearls on in the right, all the charms on in the right direction. The ones that I'm using now are 2-sided, so it doesn't matter, but you're going to slide on your charm. So I've already done my knot. Now I'm going to slide on my charm, and then I'm going to slide on my pearl. And you're just going to do 1 knot between them, so make sure you don't do another knot after you put on your charm. You're just knotting on the other side. So see how nice and flush the jump ring is between those 2 pearls. And now I'm going to do my next knot just as we've been doing them all along. Okay, so there is my first charm, and I'm just going to do this all the way around. My piece is about 17.5 inches because when you put knots between pearls, it will increase the size of the strand or lengthen the size of the strand. So before you start, if you want yours to be longer or shorter, you'll just have to figure out how many you're going to start with before you start putting on your charms. I really like the way this looks with lots of charms all in the front, which is why I only did 2 pearls, but if you wanted it to be spaced out more, then you can do 3. All right, so I'm going to put on a few more charms and pearls, and then I'm going to show you how to end. In the last take of the video that I did, I had accidentally gotten a knot right at the tip of my needle, and I show you how to undo that, how to take a knot out properly without ripping your thread. So I'm just going to quickly insert that little clip here, and then we're ready to finish up. So just as I was getting down to my last 2 pearls, lo and behold, I got a knot at the top of my cord. So I'm going to stop and show you what to do if this happens to you. One of the best ways to prevent knotting is to have a completely clear board. I usually do. I'm not doing it in this video, but there's less things for your cord to get tangled on. Sometimes it's hard to tell how it even happens, but it does happen. You do not want to don't think that, oh, I can just go over the knot and it's not that big of a deal. It won't go, your bead won't go over, and then you'll have an even tighter knot. So to undo the knot, you don't necessarily want to poke right through there because you can fray your cord. I usually grab with my tweezers a little pinch an end of the knot, and then I use my fingernail to kind of wedge it open a bit, and then when I have it open a bit, then I'll put my tool through the center. Okay, so I've opened up that knot a little bit, so now you can see it's a little bit open, and I can put my tool in there and just kind of jimmy it open. I'm going to be gentle because I don't want to fray my cord. So if I pull, I've got it in there. I go down down my tool a bit, which opens it up even more. And so now I can pull my thread out and get the knot out so it doesn't create problems for me. There we go. Open it up. Okay, and I'm ready to do my last 2 beads. Okay, so I hope you found that helpful. Again, I'm not going to do my whole piece because I've already done it once, but I am going to show you how you finish your piece. You will have ended with a knot after your last purl. So there I have my last knot, and now I'm going to use my clamshell finding on the other side, except this time we're going to go through the back end. There's the back, and go through the hole there as opposed to going in through the middle or in through this way, the way we did to start it. And it'll be obvious why in just a second. So you can see that tiny little hole there. I'm going to insert my cord all the way in and chase the finding to the knot, the last knot that I made. And this is probably the trickiest part of the whole necklace, getting the knot in that little clamshell. But you're going to do it just as you have been knotting all along, okay? So we're going to make a knot just like we were knotting in between our beads. But this time when you pick up your tool, you're going to go behind the first cord, grab the inner cord, and then you're going to bring your tool all the way into the jaws of the clamshell. So see how my tool is nestled in between the jaws? Now I can drop my knot, and I want to chase the knot all the way into that clamshell. The glue should be dry now, so I'm ready to go ahead and cut it. You want to use a very sharp cutter. This is a fiber-based cutter. I'm hoping that it has not dulled from my last project, but see how it makes a nice clean cut? All right, you want to use something that's not going to fray the ends of your silk. Again, I'm going to go in and I'm going to just cut. Oh, that didn't cut as sharply as the other side. All right, so now I've cut my cord. If you want to be extra cautious, you could take your glue again and put a little dollop on the cut part. I often do that. I'm just not going to do it today for expediency. Now you're ready to close the clamshells. You can do that by, I start it typically with my fingers by just pushing a little bit, but I want to line up those clamshells so that they close perfectly and not askew. And now I'm going to use my flat nose pliers and just press them closed like that. And I'll do the other side as well. All right. So you'll see that there's a little arm off the side of the clamshell, and that is where you attach your clasp and your jump ring. I have a soldered jump ring that I'm going to use as the hook end, so I'm going to put it in that little arm, and then I'm going to take my round nose plier and I'm going to grab the end of that that little arm, and I'm just going to roll my wrist down so that it closes. Maybe do that a little bit more. Okay. And then on the other side, I could do the same thing here, but I don't like to just attach the ring of my clasp because it's a little stiff. I like there to be a little bit of movement. It puts less friction on your piece as well. If you instead use a jump ring to attach the clasp. So I'm going to hold one side steady, and then with the other side bring that open it like a hinge, opening it towards me, and then I'm going to put it through the loop of my clasp, And then again, hold one side steady, and I'm going to push away. You can hear a little snap. You can see that it's now closed. And then I'm going to use that jump ring and go through the arm again. And roll that little arm downwards. And now I have attached my jump ring and my clasp on either side. And there we have it, our Valentine's Day necklace. Now, I love the red color that you can see by using the red silk and knotting in between it. But you could have used another color as well. Black would have made it a little bit more dramatic. The garnet color is a deeper red, but I liked matching it exactly to the color of my charms. I put a link below if you're interested in any of the charms, materials, or tools that I've used. There is a link below where you can find them in our shop. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing, as we will post new videos every week. Take care and happy beading.